This is Joe Biden. On June 16, 2023, Biden gave remarks at a gun control rally in West Hartford, Connecticut. Here is how he ended it.
I usually shake everybody's hand, but I'm going to stand in front of each section. No, I really mean it. And if you can see the camera, they can see you. And it's the least consequential part of this whole meeting for you, I promise. All right? God save the Queen, man.
And that was bizarre, right? I mean, even by Joe Biden standards. And no one knew what Biden was referring to, especially when you consider that he's the president of the United States, supposedly, which is a country that fought a war to gain our independence from the monarchy. Axios reported that even Olivia Dalton, the White House's principal deputy press secretary, didn't know what her boss meant. When journalists asked, she replied only that he was commenting to someone in the crowd. No, he wasn't. That is a lie. Because A, I showed you the clip fully in context, and it's very clear that he's speaking to the crowd in general. And B, because the pool reporters covering the event, including Todd Gilman of Dallas Morning News, were absolutely baffled as to why Biden said it. Those watching online heard the final utterance of President Biden at the gun summit, "God save the Queen, man." Several of you have asked me why he might have said that. I have no idea. Other pollers likewise have no idea. Axios also reported that the White House didn't respond when asked what Biden had meant. I mean, God forbid that Biden's staff ask him what the hell he meant. But I guess that's out of the question for some reason.
The phrase quickly trended on Twitter as critics pounced. However, others on Twitter pointed out that that's a phrase he's used before to end speeches.
So it's okay that Biden said something stupid because he used that phrase to end speeches in the past. Got it. Oh wait, that's not true, and I'll prove it. First, if you do a search on the White House's own Speeches and Remarks website, only one result appears, and that's from the gun control speech. Next, if you do a search of the Obama White House archives, there's no result of Biden saying "God save the Queen" anywhere. But there is a result featuring Obama mentioning the song during an address to British Parliament. The only instance that anyone could muster was from 2017, when Biden presided over the Electoral College vote certification.
The chair declares the joint session dissolved. God save the Queen.
And of course, that's Biden saying as a joke, I guess, to Speaker Paul Ryan at the end of a session in Congress, not at the end of a speech. So where was NBC Connecticut's source that proved that Biden said it during a speech? Well, it's here in this article on NBC Connecticut. They cited this tweet from a sports writer for USA Today. He said "God save the Queen" after speeches in the past. And of course, that's not evidence that Biden has said it in any prior speech. But that's the state of journalism in 2023. Sad, really. And then Axios, being Axios, wrote off Biden's bizarre behavior by saying, "There are legitimate questions about Biden's age and stamina, but his offbeat proverbs are just Biden being Biden." It's just Biden being Biden. Nothing to see here, America. Anyway, in the past week, Joe Biden has said so many stupid and or dishonest things that it's almost impossible to keep track. But as the top senior political analyst on YouTube, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't take the time to point them all out.
You know, soon, Africa will have 1 billion people.
No, because Africa's current population is over 1.4 billion, so no one knows what he's talking about.
No, I'm serious, not a joke.
Then Biden's White House was gracious enough to help Democrat operative Eva Longoria promote her Netflix movie.
We've known each other a long time. She was 17, I was 40. That's it.
Actually, when Joe Biden was 40, Eva was 7, so that's pretty gross. And to make matters worse, Eva had to grab Biden's hands and push them away after he groped her in front of thousands of people. Your federal tax dollars at work, America.
You realize that 26 out of every 100 students in grades kindergarten through 12 speak Spanish?
No, I didn't realize that, Joe, because it's not true. Back during the campaign trail, while pandering to Hispanics, Biden made a similar claim. Biden said 24 of every 100 kids in school today speak Spanish. Nationwide, according to Pew Research, the proportion is lower, about 17%. So Biden was and is currently wrong. It's not 24%, it's not 26%, it's 17%, which is why PolitiFact rated Biden's statement as half true. Wait, what? On his specific statement about the number who speak Spanish, we rate this statement half true. This is why no one trusts the media, because Biden is rarely fact-checked, and when he is, the fact-checkers will go into damage control mode. But on the flip side, for 4 years, the media went into full-blown cancer mode on President Trump. The Washington Post even had a running tally claiming that in 4 years, President Trump made 30,573 false or misleading claims. However, the majority of these so-called false or misleading claims are complete bullshit. Here are some examples. My presidential budget was the first in history to include a nationwide program for paid family leave. And the fact-checker's explanation for labeling it false was as follows. Obama was a big advocate for parental leave, expanding it in the federal government through executive action. And his budget included funds to expand state programs. Trump appears to distinguish his proposal from Obama's efforts by citing it a nationwide program. But while it was in the budget, Trump and his administration have done little to push for the idea in Congress. So Trump said that he put a thing in a budget. The Washington Post admits that it was in the budget, but they fact-checked it anyway. Then on January 11th, 2018, President Trump tweeted, "In new Quinnipiac poll, 66% feel the country is excellent or good. That is the highest number ever recorded by this poll." And this statement was correct and corroborated by CNBC's reporting. Wednesday's Quinnipiac University poll showed 66% of voters view the economy as excellent or good. That figure rose from 63% in December and is the highest reading since the university started asking the question in 2001. But for some reason, the Washington Post claims that this is a false or misleading claim. From the same poll, 49% of voters say former President Barack Obama is more responsible for the state of the economy, while 40% say Trump is more responsible, blah, 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 blah. Again, Trump said a thing backed by evidence, and the Washington Post couldn't refute it, so they went with misdirection. Again, this is why the public trust in the media is so low. Now let's compare the Washington Post's fact-check database on Trump with their fact-check database on Joe Biden. Oh right, it doesn't exist. I know you're shocked. Anyway, if you're a subscriber to my channel, and why wouldn't you be, you'll have seen the constant stream of lies, false or misleading statements that spew out of Joe Biden's mouth on the daily.
Made it harder for people to buy stabilized braces. Put a pistol on a brace, it turns into a gun.
First of all, it's not a stabilized brace. It's a stabilizing brace. Either way, I'm not sure how a brace turns a pistol into a gun.
Makes it more, you can have a higher caliber weapon, a higher caliber bullet coming out of that gun.
So when you add a brace to a pistol, it not only turns it into a gun, but it magically changes the caliber of that gun. Like, it instantly changes your 9mm into a 50 cal or something. This is one of the most insane things I have ever heard him say. Where are the fact checkers?
And in most cities, down in Philadelphia and New York, areas I know well, like up here, you'd see a truck pull up, pull to the curb and selling weapons, selling guns, selling AR-15, selling weapons.
Oh yes, the infamous gun truck that you see in most cities. Oh wait, I think I hear it outside.
Well, guess what? You do that now, you go to jail.
Wait, so in cities like New York and Chicago, that have some of the toughest gun laws in the country, the gun truck was previously legal somehow. And now it's not, and you go to jail. Makes sense to me. What's your problem?
Well, we're going to end and we're going to help. We have plans to build a railroad from the Pacific all the way across the Indian Ocean.
A railroad across 9,000 miles of ocean. Will there be a stop in Atlantis too, Joe?
I can go on, but I'm not. I'm going off script. I'm going to get in trouble.
Next, during a campaign event celebrating endorsements from the American Federation of Teachers and the AFL-CIO, as per usual, Biden started lying about Republicans.
You may remember when I did the State of the Union, I said, these guys want to cut Social Security and Medicare. They said, liar, liar. And so I stopped. I didn't plan on it. I stopped and said, oh, how many of you want to cut Social Security? And I asked them. I asked the Republicans.
You have to love that a crowd of a few thousand union workers didn't understand that Biden was telling a story and not asking them a question.
I asked them.
But as a refresher, here's what actually happened. Republican leadership made it clear that as part of their budget, there would be no cuts to Social Security or Medicare.
Are you willing to consider any reductions to Social Security and Medicare?
No, let's take those off the table.
Completely.
I mean, if you read our commitment to America, all we talk about is strengthening Medicare and Social Security. And I know the president says he doesn't want to look at it, but we've got to make sure we strengthen those.
But then at his State of the Union, Biden thought that it would be a great idea to lie about it.
Some Republicans want Medicare and Social Security to sunset. I'm not saying it's a majority. Let me give you, anybody who doubts it, contact my office. I'll give you a copy. I'll give you a copy of the proposal. So folks, as we all apparently agree, Social Security and Medicare is off the books now, right? They're not to be sponsored.
Anyway, as they had always promised, Republicans didn't touch Social Security or Medicare. And now Biden wants to take credit.
And I said, the spotlight's on you all now. How many of you promised not to cut Social Security? And they all said, we won't cut it. Guess what? It's not cut. I never negotiated at a State of the Union before.
Joe Biden didn't negotiate shit. Biden accused Republicans of planning on making cuts to Social Security. They called him a liar. And now he's lying again and taking credit for stopping a thing that was never in the cards to begin with. And no one calls him out on it ever.
And the idea, we used to have about 750 billionaires in America. Now they tell me it's about 1,000 because of the last administration.
Oh, he's blaming Trump for the existence of more billionaires. Sure, okay. However, again, Biden is making a false or misleading claim. According to the current version of Forbes' annual list, there are 735 billionaires in the United States, not about 1,000. Forbes points out that nearly half of all billionaires are poorer than they were a year ago. Oh, is that Trump's fault too, Joe?
Well, guess what? You know what percentage they pay in taxes? 8%, E-I-G-H-T.
Joe Biden being heckled by a union worker. Classic. So what Biden is doing is including unrealized gains on stocks, which in reality are not taxed until the stocks are sold. But Biden is painting these people as villains who are somehow cheating the system, or there's some kind of loophole that they're taking advantage of. The Tax Foundation, a nonpartisan think tank, using IRS data, found that the top 1% of taxpayers paid a 26% average tax rate.
They paid a lower tax rate than school teachers, than firefighters, probably anyone in this room.
No, they don't. The median annual income for firefighters is $50,700. Their effective federal tax rate is 8.29%. The median pay for a high school teacher is $61,820. Their effective tax rate is 9.48%. The median annual income for a billionaire is, oh right, billionaire is not an occupation. It's a term to describe someone's net worth.
They've introduced a bill, again, to reinstate the $2 trillion tax cut, of that 80% of which goes to the top 1%.
Again, another lie. In a 2021 analysis of the Trump tax cuts, Justin Haskin of the Heartland Institute writes, "The available evidence is clear. Based on the tax data from 2017 and 2018, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act reduced taxes for the vast majority of filers, led to substantial improvements in upward economic mobility, and disproportionately benefited working and middle-class households, many of which experienced tax cuts topping 18 to 20%. And Biden won't be fact-checked on this because the media wants to help perpetuate the lie that the Trump tax cuts only benefited the 1%, because God forbid they give President Trump the credit he deserves.
You know, I spent a lot of time as president, and I spent 30-some times visits and many more days in Afghanistan and Iraq.
And that's a pretty huge lie, because as president, Joe Biden has never been to Iraq or Afghanistan. During the 2020 campaign, Biden said, "I've been in and out of Afghanistan and Iraq over 30 times. His campaign later clarified that the correct number was 21. But that's reporting from 2019. And 4 years later, the Washington Post could give a that Biden has lied over and over and over again about it. Here's a comprehensive montage.
I was in and out of Afghanistan and Iraq 23 times. I've been in and out of Iraq and Afghanistan over 25 times. I've been in and out of Iraq over 25 times. You know, I won't go into it, but as I've been in and out of Afghanistan and Iraq over 27 times, I think. I had the great honor of being in and out of Afghanistan and Iraq well over 27, 28 times. I've been in and out of Iraq and Iran, but Iraq, not Iran, I misspoke, Iraq and Afghanistan over 30 times. I've been in and out of Iraq and Afghanistan over 30 times. I was in and out of Iraq 30-some times and Afghanistan. I was in and out of Iraq and Afghanistan over 35 times. I spent a fair amount of time. I guess I was in about 34, 35 times in Afghanistan and Iraq. I've been in and out, not as obviously combatant, but in and out of Afghanistan, Iraq, and these areas 38, 39 times. I've been in and out of Iraq and Afghanistan about 40 times, 30-some times, 38 times. I've been in and out of Iraq and Afghanistan over 38 times. I've been in and out of Iraq and Afghanistan over 38 times. I've been in and out of Iraq and Afghanistan over 40 times. I spent a lot of time going in and out of Iraq and Afghanistan, maybe a total of 40 times. I've been in and out of Afghanistan, Iraq over 50 times, 48 times.
So that's a minute and a half of indisputable proof that Joe Biden has made false and misleading statements regarding how many times he's visited Iraq and Afghanistan. So let's see what the Washington Post's fact check says about it. Oh right, they didn't do one. I know you're shocked. Anyway, that's it for now. Follow me on Twitter at Don'tWalkRun. Be sure that you're still subscribed to the channel. And as always, thanks for tuning in. God save the Queen, man. And I hope to see you next time. If there is next time.